Shalom, shalom, it's the brother Kadash. I'm going to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Double honors to all the brothers in this truth. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. This is special because this is going in on the Passover. I'm only going to read like a couple scriptures on it to get straight to the point, but it might be a long read. But it's just to get in the spirit of the Passover that's coming up and see why it's so important and some of the things that go along with the Passover, why they're so important, and because everything really has a meaning to it, so you have to go in here and read these things to be able to understand these things. I mean, and attain to wise counsels when you learn these things, but you have to do the reading, to truly be able to understand it yourself. The Passover is coming over, so of course right now we're getting prepared. We're about to get everything out the house, clean everything. We already went and got our lamb, your wine. You probably got some oil. You probably got the tortillas, the corn tortillas dough. Whatever you finna get prepared to keep the Passover to the best of your ability. Now, Judges chapter 5, here I'll jump to it. Get that precept. Which I've been seeing myself have to use this a lot lately. But it breaks it down. I always skip over it and forget what verse it was too. But here it is. Judges chapter 5 verse 11. It says, "They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of the drying waters, they there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of the village of Israel." See, it's for Israel. "Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates." And we're wanting to be delivered from Mystery Babylon, which is America, the same way that our ancestors were delivered during the time of Moses from the Egyptians. We want the same way Egypt was to be destroyed. We want this place to be destroyed, and we want to be delivered from it. So this is why we keep the Passover. Now, Yahweh Shai is that sacrificial lamb for us, but that's the reason why I read Judges 5. It's because we still rehearse the righteous acts. Could we do it perfect? No, because none of us is going to go get a lamb, an actual lamb, and kill it, bleed it out, unblemished lamb. We don't really have the tools or the power necessarily to do that. So we might just go buy some lamb, and pray over it and stuff like that. But we keep it to the best of our abilities, which is what leads us to rehearsing the righteous acts, and that's the high holy days too. So I'm gonna get into it. This is Exodus chapter 12, and this is just to get whoever watches my channel or sees this video, just to get you in the spirit. This is a very serious thing. We have to let go all the goofy stuff. We got to let go all the fun stuff, and we got to get serious for a moment. We have to get in the spirit. You have to think about your Lord and what He went through for us. So matter of fact, let me talk about that a little bit more. It's hard for me to read the Gospels, even though I read them multiple times. But it's always hard for me because of my spirit, because if I read it and I think about the things that Yahweh Shai go through, I always catch myself wishing that I was there. I wish that I could, kind of like Peter. Peter said that he pretty much, to sum it up, he said that he died with the Lord. He pretty much was saying like, look, no, look, I would never deny you. I die with you. We let us die with you. Which they end up being crucified and stuff like that too. So it did end up coming true, but they was so much, and I feel like my same spirit is, I have that same spirit, and it's just, it kind of gets you in your feelings every time you read it. That's why, like me personally, I could never watch a movie, or I could never watch a show on Netflix, where they got the Book of Mark on Netflix, but it's a show, it's a movie, and you can watch it and watch the Lord get crucified. I really can't watch it, because it's just too much, because of the feelings. But when I was younger, I watched a couple of them before I even knew anything about what all this was, and I used to always watch it and still have that same effect. But even more knowing that, I look like the Lord is an Israelite like me, and I have more of these connections than I knew about when I was younger. It's even harder, some of the things that was going down, man. It's just, but then you understand the reason why, and these things had to be going down, and the Lord did all this. That's the worst death in history. That death is still talked about today. Matter of fact, we're talking about it right now. It's the worst way to die, period, because you have to suffer. You have to feel everything. There was no pain medicine or some pain pills or something like that to stop the pain or numb you, or you on high drugs. No, he had to go through all of that, even to the point where he died of it. Things swelling up, things blood circulation being cut, bleeding, internal bleeding, man, all that stuff. So you got to think about that. Like, you don't want to go through that, and that's why we trying our best today so we could be saved from that. And that's what it's about. I'm gonna get into it though. This is Exodus chapter 12. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It should be the first month of the year to you." So yeah, we already know that the months are determined by the new moon. New moon comes in, that's a new month, right? The new moon isn't the full moon. The full moon is when you can fully see the moon. I mean, hence the word full moon. And I have to say that because there's a lot of talk about that, man. Man. But the new moon is when it come in, you can't see it because it's the new moon that come in. The full moon comes in the middle of the month. So when the new moon came in March, they say, I think March, the end of March is the, like, March 22nd is usually the beginning of spring. Somewhere around that time. I think it changes days. Well, the new year is when everything is new again, not in the middle of the winter when everything's dead again. You see, so when the new moon comes in, then boom, okay, this is the new month. Like it says, this should be the first month of the year to you, which it is to us now that we woke up. It says, "Speak ye into all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they should take them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house." And see, this is why I was talking about Judges 5. We rehearsing the righteous act, because can we literally go take a whole lamb? No, because Esau come up against us anyways if we had a lamb in the backyard and we was finna slaughter. You see? "And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next into him into his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to the eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb should be without blemish." So could we go to the supermarket and be like, "Look, I want lamb meat, but the lamb before y'all slaughter, it had to be without blemish"? We can't do that. A male of the first year and be like, "No, this has to be a male lamb meat that I'm buying." You see what I'm saying? It's tough to do that. "Ye should take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye should keep it up until the 14th day the same month. The whole assembly of the congregation of Israel should kill it in the evening, sundown." But the thing is the what did it say? The 14th day. So we got the new moon. Whenever the new moon came in this month, March, which you could look that up, which we keep the Sabbath day anyway, so we is already on point. Then you go 14 days from that. 14 days from that new moon is usually going to get you around the full moon. It's going to get you. It's probably going to fall on the full moon, because the full moon always come in about halfway through the month. So it all adds up. It says, and they should take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts on the upper door post of the houses wherein they should eat it. That's what they had to do. It says, "And they should eat the flesh in the night, roasted with fire and unleavened bread, and with the bitter herbs they should eat it." Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we did get I forgot because we already had bitter herbs, so we didn't have to go get the bitter herbs. But yeah, you gotta roast it with fire, but it says with unleavened bread. So that's where the corn tortillas come in. It's bread, but it's unleavened. It says, eat not of it. And you know, a lot of brothers already know this. It's taught to me. So some brothers that may come across the video, they probably don't know that. So now you do know. You can get the corn tortillas. It says, and they should eat the flesh. Well, I already read that. It says, eat not of it raw, nor sudden at all with water. So sudden with water is like boiling it. Do not eat it raw, but roast it with fire. So roasting it with fire is the same thing as like baking it. You know, do all of us have the means to go outside and make a fire and, you know, kind of get a stick on each side and put the lamb up there, roasting with the fire, baking it is the same thing. It's the same concept, you know. The oven heated up the same way the fire would heat it up and roasts it. It says, and with bitter herbs they should eat it. It's a point you should eat it with the bitter herbs because the bitterness goes into man, let me see if I could remember this off the top of my head. The bitter herbs go into the it's like the man, I don't want to say it wrong. It's like the curses that we went through, the curses of the law. So we got the law, statutes, and commandments, then you got the curses and the you got the captivities we went through. Yeah, okay, that's what it is. It's like a symbol. It symbolized the captivity that we were in when we were in Egypt. So it was bitter. It became very bitter for us, and that's what the bitter herbs go into, you know. And it says here, let me see where I'm at. It says, eat not of it raw, nor sudden at all water, but roasted with fire, his head and with his legs and with the prudence thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. So you gotta actually do that when you keep it a Passover. You gotta eat of it, and you cook. You know what you cook, you have to eat it, and nothing should remain until the morning. That which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. So if you do have anything left over, you have to burn it with fire. So it's important because, you know, you have brothers that go out there and, you know, they go crazy, you know, and get too much. But you got to remember that this is one of the rules of it. So you only should get as much as for you and your family that's going to keep it, or you and the brothers that y'all can eat it all, that none remains until the morning. It says, and thus shall ye eat it with your loins girdle, which this is what we did last year. So you want to have, you probably want to have your garment on. You want to have some pants on. You don't want to be in there and just, you know, if you're doing it with just your family, you know, you just in your boxers, you know. I mean, you want to be dressed, your shoes on your feet. So you want to have your shoes on, just like how you are when you go out there to camp to teach the word. That's how you want to be. It says, in your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. So, you know, you got to drink the wine, but you don't want to be just drinking the wine. You getting drunk. You got your food there. It's been 2 hours. You picking at it. You getting a little bit more. You talking, having conversations. No, you want to eat it in haste because you want to put yourself in that mood of like, take it back to like if you was in Egypt, you know, doing the Passover, and the Lord finna Passover, destroy everything. You got to get ready because the Lord finna deliver us out, and we finna have to run out. You have to be in that same, because it can happen. On the Passover, it can happen. You could be having a Passover, and the Lord could pass over Mystery Babylon and take the elect up. Now, we know, of course, the mark of the beast has to be introduced and stuff like that. But we got time, so you never know. Or something crazy could happen to the point where it's not the end yet. The mark of the beast could still be introduced, but the way that we living right now ain't the same. Some natural event, anything like that. So you want to be prepared. And that's what this whole thing is about. Now that I'm getting to that, is being prepared. That's what the Passover is about. Being prepared every way. Being prepared in your spirit. Being prepared, you know, yeah, just your spirit, you know, your faith, being prepared. And, you know, on the Passover, like I said, you eat with your shoes on, stuff like that, so you prepare physically too. Let me get a precept for it. This is Matthew's chapter 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom should be preached in all the world for a witness unto all the nations, and then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abominations of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place. So when we see these abominations of desolations spoken about Daniel the prophet, that's in Daniel chapter 12, a time like never before, which we're seeing right now. It says stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth it, let him understand. Because what does it mean to stand in the holy place? It's talking about your spirit. Stand in the holy place. What we doing right now? Wake up to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and we're having faith, and that's what it's about. Stand in the holy place. Prepare yourself mentally. Prepare yourself spiritually. Here, let me jump back, Salaki, real quick. Oh man, Paul. Okay, yeah, Salaki. So just like Matthew 24, you got to stand in the holy place, which brings us back to the next topic. This is important. When keeping the Passover, you can't just have any and everybody. And see, that's the thing with the blood on the doorpost, and you stay at that one location, at that one house, so you're not jumping from house to house. On some of these false holidays, you go over here to your auntie house, you go to your grandma's house to get something, you go to one of your shorties' house, you go to here, this and that. You ain't supposed to be jumping around, man. This is a very holy thing, and no person, look, if a guy is not in the truth, like you might have an uncle, he know that y'all finna be roasting lamb over there. You want to come to your house and get some. You can't have all that going, man. This is for the people that's in the truth, trying to keep the laws, that's standing in that holy place. You have to stand in that holy place to be a part of it, and you should only let people be a part of your Passover because how serious you take it, that is also standing in that holy place, that know what it's about. So, and then as far as the cooking, going back to the cooking, you put in the oven because, like I said, we rehearsing the righteous act. Now, should you get a grill and roast it with actual fire? Yeah, but a lot of brothers don't have money for grills. A lot of brothers don't live in a place where some brothers live in apartments. They ain't got grills outside. We ain't living in the nice apartments. You see what I'm saying? Where you could go get a grill and bring it up to your apartment or something like that. Or you might not have the money for it. Because getting the grill comes, you got to get the coal. You got to get something to start the fire. It's a lot more too. You got to get the tools and stuff like that to flip and do this and do that. So you rehearsing the righteous act. Are we going to be able to keep it perfect? No. A lot of brothers say, yeah, you have to get a grill and you have to roast it with fire. Can't say that. But you got to remember this is a rehearsal of the righteous act. So you keep it to the best of your ability. Because at the end of the day, it really comes down to the spirit. The Lord gonna know, As far as the flesh, the lamb, Yahweh Shai is the lamb, because the first time he came like a lamb, subtle, didn't put up a fight, calm, friendly. But the next time he coming back like a lion. He said, I will meet you not as a man, with the thousands of heavens. But that's why we keep this, We keep this day because we standing in the holy place, like it said in Matthew 24. As far as the bread, and there's more laws to it. There's more laws. The bread is the body, and the wine is the blood of Yahweh Shai. So you eating the body of Yahweh Shai. So that's how important this is. That's why you don't just let anybody in it. You got an uncle, he been sinning all year. He don't care. He's a scoffer. But you gonna let him come over and you gonna let him eat of the body of Yahweh Shai with you? The bitter herbs represent, like we said, the curses, which some of the curses was like slavery, and the different trials and tribulations that we had to go through and the afflictions and stuff like that. So you put it all together here. Let me keep going. It says, verse 12, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night and will smite all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. So the Lord might pass through on our Passover. He might not smite everything, but he might mark things to be smite. So you want to keep this Passover so you could be exempt from it. That's why we keep it every year. It says, and the blood should be to you for a token upon the house where ye are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And we know that this is spiritual Egypt to this day. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye should keep it a feast of the Lord throughout your generations. Ye should keep it a feast by the ordinance forever. So we keeping it forever. And when America is destroyed like Egypt was, then we gonna keep a new high holy day in the kingdom for America being destroyed forever. Let's jump back to the book of Matthew. I'm not gonna read the whole thing because it continues going in it. It gives you even more laws to it. So you have to read through this whole chapter, and break it down. I know some brothers go into stuff like the breaking of, you can't break the bones of it, which represents Yahweh Shai when he was being crucified. They didn't get to break his bone. I think they were going to go break his bones, but they didn't get to break his bones. Here, this is verse 46, Exodus 12, just to get it. It says, in one house shall it be eaten. You can't be, I got the Passover lamb, I'm going to take it outside. I'm going to carry it to my grandma's house and eat it over there with her. Pack me up a little bit more if I got some left. Go to my auntie. In one house, thou shalt not carry forth out the flesh abroad out of the house. You kind of on your way, you finna go do something, whatever, and you got the Passover lamb in the car with you, taking bites of it. When you stop at a red light, take a couple bites of it. Come on, man. Neither shall ye break a bone thereof. So you get the Passover lamb, you get it with the bones, don't break the bones. It's just that simple. But remember, we rehearsing this to the best of our ability. Some come, if you get the chops, the lamb chops, it comes with bones in them, but of course the bones have already been broken. So that's why it's always gonna go back to Judges 5. We rehearsing the righteous act. We rehearsing them. We ain't gonna get them perfect, but we rehearsing them. So in the kingdom, we gonna have it perfect. It goes back to Matthew chapter 24. We standing in a holy place because it's about our spirit, about where your soul at, your spirit at. All the congregation of Israel should keep it. So this is very important. I'm going to jump back to Matthew real quick. Matthew chapter 26. I'm going to start at verse 1 with this one too. So you know what the wine represent to make this edifying. The wine represents the blood. We know the bread represents the body. You want to be a part of the body of Yahushua, right? You know that the lamb, the Yahushua is the lamb. The lamb represents Yahushua. And the bitter herbs represents the afflictions and tribulations and that we went through. So now you know the meaning of all these things. You know that this is a very holy thing. You know what the Lord had to go through, which we're about to get an account of that. You know what the Lord had to go through. So you know how important this is. This is, say you want to be saved, well, keep this high holy day. Stand in the holy place and keep this high holy day. So the Lord could exempt you from that judgment. Here, let me jump to Revelation chapter 3 to get a precept for it. This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. What's the word? All the law, trying to keep the law, statutes, commandments to the best of your ability, which is a part of keeping the high holy days. That's a part of the 10 commandments. Keep the high holy day, which the Passover is. It says, I also would keep thee from the hour of temptation, which should come upon all the world, and try them that dwell upon the earth. So that's why it's so important to keep these high holy days, so the Lord could keep you from the hour of temptation, which is exactly what happened in Egypt when the destroyer was passing over Egypt to smite the firstborn. male, well, the Israelites were told to keep this Passover, and they had to put the blood on the doorpost, which we just read, and therefore it would pass over them, and their firstborn wouldn't be destroyed. So what happened? They were kept from that temptation. They were kept from that judgment. Back in Matthew chapter 26, verse 1, it says, "And it came to pass, when Yahushua had finished all these sayings, he said unto the disciples, Ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified." So he already knew, he was prophesying. Now, this is important because this, like we always say, look, this could be the last Passover. So do you really want to miss it? This could be the last Passover, man. And last year, I know when we kept the Passover, we were able to actually keep it. And some other camps that kept their Passover on a different date or way later, they weren't able to keep their Passover. They had to keep pushing theirs back, pushing it back because the whole pandemic thing happened. Verse 3, it says, "Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people into the palace of the high priest, who were called Saphias, and consulted they that might take Yahushua by subtlety and kill him." So this is what the Lord had to go through, man. Imagine that. A lot of brothers been there, especially if you grew up in the streets. You know, you get into it with a Jake. You probably was wicked, probably did something with this girl, and now he want to kill you. You know, you going to friends, going to go kick it on the block, and they telling you so-and-so said something about you. So-and-so said this about you. You seen each other at parties to start off with fights. Somebody get whooped, now the party get... So some of us been there, but for us that haven't been there, imagine people consulting against you, trying to kill you. And you know it though, Every day you go to sleep, every day you wake up, you got to be on your P's and Q's, somebody trying to kill you. People, they got a little power too. Trying to put it together, try to set you up. King David had to go through this when he was on the run. Imagine being on the run like that. You seen the movie Love and Slim? Yeah, exactly. That's a very grievous thing to go through. Even before they actually get you, it's very grievous just to go day in, day in, day. You trying to do the work, but you know people trying to kill you. And even more, the Lord, he was prophesying, he knew that they was actually going to succeed in doing it, because he knew that prophecy had to be fulfilled. So imagine knowing that. Look how bugged out Tupac was when he thought the Illuminati was trying to kill him. He was completely out of there. That's a great burden to put on somebody, man. Verse 5, it says, "And they said, Not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people." This is how important this feast day is. Because they said, even they was trying to get him, they was after him so bad, but even they knew not on the feast day. So this is the same, how holy day we keep it to this day. That's how important it is. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came into him a woman having a alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head, and he sat at meat. Which we did that yesterday. We just got the oil, and we blessed it in the Hebrew, and poured it. It says, "But when the disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For the ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor." See, they had no faith, man. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, "Why trouble ye the woman? For she has wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always." Right? Because he's going to be crucified. So he knew this. So imagine that. Just imagine knowing that your end is coming soon. "For in that she has poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, whosoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there also this that this woman has done be told for a memorial of her. And we're reading it to this day. It says, then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went into the chief priest and said unto him, what will ye give me, and I will deliver him into you? Man. And they covenant with him for 30 pieces of silver. So we all just watched the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, right? And this is where they get it from. You know, and from that time, he saw opportunity to betray him. You know, trying to figure out the perfect time, you know. Opportunist. It says, now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yahushua, saying unto him, where would thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? So this is a very important day, man. All the teaching, everything they were doing, they had to prepare and stop it and prepare all for this day. That's how important this day is. So if the Lord was preparing for this day, how the service is not better than the master. So we really should be on it, man. And he said, you talking about the heir? You talking about the heir to the kingdom? You know, Yahushua, John chapter 1, he was preparing for this. Here, let me jump to John 1. Verse 29, John chapter 1, verse 29, perfect. It says, the next day John seeth Yahushua come in to him and say, behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. See? Showing you the Lamb represents Yahushua, the Lamb of God, that take away the sin of the world for Israel. But back here in, here, let me see what I want to get. Back in verse 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. That's talking about Yahushua. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended not. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. So for us to have this faith and even believe, man, this is by the way of the Lord. Verse 12, but as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. So we say we believe, right? So we got to go through the same things. We got to bear our cross just like he did. Back in Matthew chapter 26, right? Here, where did I leave off at? I think verse 18. And he said, go into the city to such a man and say unto him, the master say, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with the disciples. At thy house. Was he jumping from house to house? We gonna go here, we gonna go there and keep it. Then we gonna go over here with these people and keep it. No, he said I would keep it at thy house with the disciples. And the disciples did as Yahushua had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the eve was come, he sat down with the 12, which is what we're gonna do, you know. The sundown. What's today right here? Slaki. Man, come on. The 26th sundown. On the 26th sundown, same thing we're going to do. It says, now when the eve was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, verily I say unto you, that one of you should betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, it is I. And he answered and said, he that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same should betray me. And this is why it goes important to whoever you gonna keep it with, man, you kind of gotta make sure they on the right path. Y'all kind of gotta vet each other. Make sure y'all all standing in the high holy place. Circumcision, make sure whoever you keeping it with is circumcised to the heart. Meaning they believe in the Lord wholeheartedly. You have to make sure that, man. Because you don't want, you got your family that's not in the truth, but they keeping the Passover with you. But when all hell break loose, they gonna turn on you. Here, let me jump, man. Let's get some precepts. Usually I don't go this deep getting all these precepts, but we got to do it, though, because this is how important this is. Micah chapter 7, verse 6. For the son dishonors the father, and the daughter rises up against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's enemies are the men of his own house. Therefore I will look into the Lord, and I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Rejoice not against me, O my enemies. When I fall, I shall rise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be my light unto me, because the Lord is that light. We just read it. But it goes to show you, men of your own house could be your enemies. That's how important this is. I know some brothers live with their parents. You might want to reach out to another brother that's keeping the Passover that don't live with his parents. And I'm saying, now, if you're a brother in the truth, but you live with your parents and your family not in the truth, you might want to try to keep it with another brother. Or find a place where you can keep it. I know it's tough like that. That's why we always going to keep reiterating it. We go back to Judges chapter 5. We rehearsing the righteous act. Now, remember, you got to be circumcised of the heart, man. Whoever you going to keep it with, you going to make sure they're circumcised of the heart. So what does it mean to be circumcised? Of the heart. This is Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Whoever keep the Passover, you want to make sure they check that box off. They fit that box. Verse 13, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is the Lord thy God, the earth also with all that therein is. Only the Lord had delight in thy fathers, not everybody's fathers, but thy fathers, to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all the people as it is to this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. So, somebody might be wanting to keep it with you. You tell them that. Look, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked, and you can keep it with me next year. Back in Matthew chapter 26, verse 22. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him. But woe unto the man by who the Son of the Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. And why is this so important? Because, you see a lot of different brothers breaking this down right now during the time of the Passover. They going into these same verses and all that. But I ain't seen a brother break this down yet. This is important because this goes into the 2/3. You don't want to follow the Lord. You're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You don't believe in the Lord. You don't believe that the Lord came. You don't believe in the Lord, that he's the son of Yahweh. You go and take the mark of the beast, the chip. That's betrayal of the Lord. The mark of the beast, you taking the mark of the beast, which is the microchip, that's betraying the Lord. You're betraying the Lord. Just like Judas betrayed the Lord, you're betraying the Lord. And you're going to be dealt with. What's going to happen? The same what happened to Judas. He gave up the ghost, right? And those who betray the Lord, they gonna give up the ghost too. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said it. You said it. And as they were eating, Yahushua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body. So what did we say earlier? We said the bread is the body of Yahushua. There it is right there. There's the proof. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is the blood of the New Testament. And we just read John chapter 1 where it said the Lord is the word. So it's the blood of the Lord. There go your proof for that. Which is shed for many of the remissions of sins. He shed his blood for our sins. We read that in John chapter 1 too. It says, But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And we're going to have that. We're going to have that in the kingdom. And if we follow him like the disciples followed him. That's why they're able to eat of the bread and drink of the wine. It says, and when they had sung and hung, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then said Yahushua unto them, All ye shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock should be scattered abroad. But after, and that's what happened, because they were all scattered, split up. Man. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into the Gileans, and even more Israel. We were scattered. It tells you that in Zechariah chapter 7. We were scattered. But the Lord is going to bring us all back together. Peter answering said unto him, Though all the men should be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. See, that's what I was talking about in the beginning. I'll be having that same spirit come upon me. Yahushua said unto him, Verily I say unto you, that this night before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me three times, which he did. Peter said unto him, Though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. I would have had that same spirit, man. That's why it'd be hard for me to read this. Then cometh Yahushua with them into a place called Gethsemane, and say unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. So look at the spirit that he was. Man, we all need to be in that spirit on the Passover. We all need to be sorrowful. We need to be very heavy. You need to feel it on your spirit. You need to think about all the afflictions, all the slavery that our people went through, all our people getting killed in the streets right now to this day, us being under this white man law, everything being stripped from us, the curses that's on us, what they did to our Lord. You need to be in that spirit, man. Then say he unto them, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. You need to be very sorrowful, man, for all the sins you committed, all the sins you committed in the past lives you don't even know about. All that got here. Look at our people as a nation right now. They putting the women on top of us. You got Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and Kim Kardashian and all our women trying to follow. All hell breaking loose. We just can't get it right. Look at our men. You want to get in the spirit? I just drove by one yesterday. You want to get in the spirit? Go drive by if you in the city next to a prison, go drive by that prison and look at those walls. And they realize that 80%, when I'm talking about 80, I'm talking about Native Americans, blacks, and Hispanics. We make up 80% of the people in that jail is our people. 80, 90%, somewhere between there is our people. and just look at those walls with the barbed wire on top of it. And then realize that's a curse put on us because we sinned against our Lord. And then become very sorrowful. Sit out there. Just sit out there and look at it. And then realize one little false move for you, and you could be in there. You could be right in there with them. Any day now. Man, you got to be very sorrowful. Paul went to jail. Yeah. And he went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, you need to fall on your face, man. Fall on your face. And start praying. Oh, my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou will. I mean, even he knew what was going to happen, but man, that's such a grievous thing when you know that this is finna happen to you and ain't nothing you could do about it. Like I said, ain't no pain medicine. Ain't no nothing to numb you. You finna have to feel all of this. The whips, the beatings, the carrying of the heavy cross, the thorns in the crown of the head, nails being driven through. Come on, man. And he found it, and he cometh into the disciples, and he findeth them asleep, and saying to Peter, what, could ye not watch with me 1 hour? The Lord put the spirit on them and put them to sleep. This ain't their battle. Yahushua had to go through this alone. They got to sit out. They on the bench right now. Yahushua got to go through this all alone. You know, you got these disciples, these men that you've been running with, teaching His word with, loving. But they can't go through this with you. You all alone. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And he went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink of it, thy will be done. And he already understood, like, this cup ain't gonna pass away. I gotta go through this. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes was heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh me to his disciples and saying to them, sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that does betray me. You gonna have to read the rest of it. You just gonna have to read the rest of it. But the thing is that he knew he had to go through this, and what did he do? He manned up. He manned up and went through it, man. And that's what we gotta do during this time, man. We know we gonna be afflicted. We know the devil should come down on you having great wrath. Revelations chapter 12. We know a multitude of man should come down on us. Should take some of us. 2nd Ezra chapter 16. Matthew chapter 24. And they should deliver you up to be afflicted, and should kill you, and ye should be hated of all nations for my name's sake. We know that these things gonna happen. But just like the disciples later on, you gotta man up and you gotta go through it, man. You gotta man up and go through it. Whatever happens, if the Lord saves you, if you gotta be a martyr, you gotta man up. Put yourself in your Yahushua shoes, which we can't. But get your spirit right, and you gotta man up, man, and you gotta go through it just like he knew he had to go through it. That time became very heavy on him. You know, it's like you got a little bit straight, but the closer you get to that very second, the more of that strength is lost. But